this question, I know what your answer would be. Do you hate your job? Are you looking for a career change? We are going to deal with that right now. Sarah Vermunt is here, career coach. To walk us through how you can do it. I was talking to the audience before the show and met Nancy, who's actually in this dilemma right now. Nancy, what's been happening in your life?
Basically, I'm looking for a complete and new, exciting career change. I was a community nurse for over 20 years, and I want something where I can use my people skills and, of course, maybe a little bit of career skills and get on with the new and fun job.
The problem is that most people don't know how to make that switch, and you've been there, which is how you started this new path as a career coach.
Yeah, so I used to work as a professor at a business school. I was studying organizational behavior, so like workplace psychology. And I actually really hated conducting research. And I hated it more and more the more I did it. And I actually ended up having a bit of like a mental breakdown at a crowded Starbucks, no less.
Oh, wow.
And I had been doing some coach training at the time, and I thought, oh, I'm just going to leave sooner than I thought I would leave, and I'm just going to do this now.
Okay, and you did it, and you have to be brave to do that.
Yeah.
You have some advice for us for how we can sort of make those first steps to changing. What do you suggest?
Well, one of the best things you can do is actually talk to people who are doing the interesting work you think you want to do. And it's so important to do that before you make the leap, because you want to see if the stuff that you think you will like is stuff you'll actually like.
Right.
So it's like testing the waters first.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Well, there's a thing called informational interviews, and that's basically just asking a cool person out for coffee and like having a chill conversation with them about their work.
Okay.
And it's kind of a low stress thing. It's not a job interview, so there's no pressure. You're literally just gathering information. That's why they call it an informational interview. And it's your way to suss out whether it's going to be a good fit for you or not. And you're actually talking to the people doing the work, which is important, because every job posting looks amazing, but you want to know the nitty-gritty about what it's actually like. So you might get some great information that's exciting, or you might hear a couple of red flags that turn you off a little bit. And in both of those scenarios, it's actually a really good thing, because either you get psyched about the thing you're moving towards, or you maybe dodge a bullet in some cases.
Good, yeah, that's actually a good, important point. Now, how do you go about finding those people? So what if you decide, I want to work for the police force, and you don't know any officers?
Yeah.
Do you, like,
You
what do
end up
do?
approaching strangers.
You do, huh?
Yeah, God bless the internet. This was way harder 20 years ago. Way harder 20 years ago. You can find anyone these days. But people get a little bit nervous about doing this, because there's the possibility of rejection. You have to reach out to strangers, and you know that not everyone you approach is going to say yes.
Right.
But you just send them a little one-paragraph email saying, hey, I'm thinking about this type of career change. I'm not looking for a job or a connection, but I'm just looking to get some information about your experience in this field.
Right.
And there's some ways you can do it so that you can actually increase your chances of them saying yes.
Oh, what's that?
And first, you want to let them know that you're not like looking for a job hookup or a connection. You're just looking for information.
Okay.
And then also, you want to be really clear that you're going to work around their schedule. Coffee is your treat. You're happy to meet them wherever.
Okay, so make it really easy for them to do this so that they will say yes. Is there anything you should be asking them once you have that appointment with them, that informational interview? What are the questions?
So there's some questions that everybody should ask, no matter what job you're moving from and what job you're moving towards. So some questions would be like, actually one that's really important that people don't consider is just asking, like, what's your typical day like, so that you can get a picture of the things you'd be doing in that field of work.
Yeah.
Also, what do you really love about your job? What are the challenges for your job? Because you want to hear both sides of it, right? No job is perfect. Also, what's the culture like? Culture really matters to people. And also, and importantly, how did you get into this field of work? How did you move up in this work? What's mobility like in this kind of field? Because if you're moving from one career to another, you have to figure out what your entry points are going to be.
That's right, entry points. That's a really good way of labeling it.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out all those things and sort of attack it from all those different places.
Yeah.
Do you deal more with people who are starting out in life, or people who have full careers and they're looking to switch?
I tend to help people who are looking for career changes and who are lost. So there's so many people out there who don't like their job, you know, either people who hate it or people who just feel like it's a really blah existence, but they don't know what they do want. So many people are feeling lost, and actually this informational interview thing, talking to people doing the work, can be one of the best things you can do to help you feel out what's next.
When you left yours after the Starbucks breakdown, how did you know that this was what you were going to do? How did you figure that out?
I actually did an informational interview with a coach while I was working with a professor who studied under the same woman that I had planned to do my coach training with.
Yes.
And she said yes. I also approached some other people who said no, so it's okay if people say no, you just keep on trucking.
That's right.
And this woman's name was Catherine, and she gave me a whole hour of time, and I learned so much, and I figured out it was exactly what I want.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And did you try like various different things? Were you like, oh, maybe I'll be a dancer, maybe I'll be a chef,
No,
maybe I'll be a career
I
coach?
wanted to be a coach. It was
knew.
just sort of the last thing I did before I took the leap. Because
Right.
making a career change is a pretty high stakes thing, right?
Very high stakes, and also I think that you have to think to yourself, if I'm going to go in every day and be angry, like not be in a good place every single day, it is actually worth taking the risk
Totally.
to go out there and find even a stranger and ask them about living the life that I want to be living. Because even if you have the potential for happiness, you just need to be brave enough and courageous enough to follow that path.
Yeah, and I think we don't because we're afraid of rejection, but also we feel like we don't know how to do it. So we can put a little template up on the show notes if you want, so that
That'd be
people know
great.
exactly what to say in those emails to people.
Yes.
And it'll just make it a little bit easier. And also cast your net wide. Reach out to more people than you think you actually want to talk to, because only one in about every 3 or 4 people will say yes.
That is so good.